Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. Welcome everyone to the kickoff meeting of the Henrico Conservation Action Network. We are very excited about this new venture and thrilled that there has been so much interest in the preservation of the land, history, and environment of Henrico. So welcome and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. We're looking forward to a productive meeting tonight and the continuing to build the value of this action network during our meetings and subcommittee meetings in the future. So let's get right to it. We thought we'd take a minute to introduce the steering committee to you, including who is doing what during this online meeting, and then let you introduce yourselves briefly so we can all get a sense of who is here and what your interests are. Anne-Marie, you want to go ahead and start?
Okay, I will start off. I'm Anne-Marie Leak, a resident of Tuckahoe District. I also happen to be an elected director of the Henricopolis Soil and Water Conservation District. I'm not here in that official capacity tonight, here in a citizen capacity, but hopeful that there are ways that we can work towards mutual goals. Claiborne, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm going to echo exactly what Anne-Marie said. I am also here as a private citizen. I'm in the Tuckahoe District. I am also an elected director of the Henricopolis Soil and Water District. Thrilled to build stronger relationships with all of you.
All right, Aileen.
Sorry, I'm distracted admitting people. I'm Aileen Rivera. I'm with Route 5 Corridor Coalition and Sierra Club 2, but I'm here just as a member of Henrico Conservation Action Network. Thanks.
I'm going to throw it next to our HCAN Brain Trust there at Lynn's house. Lynn?
I'll go ahead and take it. Hi, I'm Lynn Wilson. Resident of the Varina District and member of the Henrico Preservation Advisory Committee. Passing it to my buddy here.
So thank you, Lynn. I'm John Montgomery, and I'm also a resident of the far eastern part of the county, just off Route 5, very interested in all of the things going on across the county. And I have a small part to play tonight and look forward to it and appreciate everybody being part of this.
And I'm Glenn Godden. I'm part of this crew here at Lynn's house, and I live in the Varina District as well and have been working on community organizations for years, trying to do exactly what we're trying to do tonight with a larger group. So we're excited about it.
Okay, I'm now going to try and follow along the grid on my screen and hopefully won't miss anyone. Sebastian.
Hi, sorry, my internet is a little funky today. My name is Sebastian. I actually don't live in Henrico, but I work on community issues like these for a living. I'm with the Partnership for Smarter Growth. We work in counties and the city all over the Richmond region. We're focused on smart growth, revitalized city, protecting the country, our forests and farmlands, focus on equity, sustainability, and conserving our natural and historic resources. I've worked with Lynn a little bit in the lead up to this, and am happy to help in any way that we can.
Fantastic. We appreciate your being here. Let's see, I've got Beth McKenzie Moore next.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm a Henrico Dams member. I'm also part of the Virginia Conservation League and Network. I've done some lobbying with them. I'm a master naturalist. I used to teach environmental sciences in middle school. Well, anyway, I live in Brooklyn District. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, Beth. Carrie Pruitt. All right, Carrie may not be able to unmute. Oh, there we go. Hi, Carrie.
I'm here. I was making soup, so I just had to run over from the stove. Carrie Pruitt, I met a number of you, but both Eileen and Beth Cordatis I've been in contact about the issue with the power plants in Chickahominy, which we've had a good resolution on that. And I've had in the past done some letter writing campaigns for the Atlantic Coast or against the Atlantic Coast pipeline and the Mountain Valley pipeline. So I'm excited to find out what's going on in Henrico.
Great,
Calling on
thank you,
somebody
Carrie.
else who has not gone. Tyler.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Tyler Mader. I'm a resident of Henrico. I live in Glen Allen, and I am involved with and interested in conservation. So happy to be here today.
Great, thank you, Tyler. Kelsey.
Hi, I'm Timothy Hatton. Kelsey's here with me. We are residents of East Henrico. We live in the Sandston zip code, and we're here as private concerned citizens who are interested in open space conservation.
Wonderful, thank you for joining us. Linda Thompson.
Hi, I live in Highland Springs in the Verona district. I'm here for myself, but I'm on the Keep Henrico Beautiful committee, and I also am president of our homeowners association, Chickahominy Woods Townhouses Association. So I know several of y'all, and I'm an environmentalist and involved in several things. So
Wonderful, thank you, Linda. Jim Campy, you're up next on my grid.
Yes, thank you. I'm Jim Campy with the American Battlefield Trust in Washington, D.C. And of course, we do a lot of work with other organizations preserving land in Eastern Henrico at the Newmarket Heights Battlefield, Deep Bottom, and some other sites. So we're excited to be working with this group.
Great, thank you. Up next, my screen says Suzanne Williams.
Well, I'm not exactly Suzanne Williams, but I am closely related to her. I'm Clyde Williams. I live down off of Osborne Turnpike near in the midst of the battlefields, and wanted to get involved with this group mainly because Aileen sent me an invite, and I've been working with her on the Verona Beautification Committee, and she does darn good work, and I like supporting her. And also Bland does very good work for Verona, and Verona is very lucky to have both of them. So I'm going to give them the most cheerleading I can.
Wonderful, thank you for being here. Beth Cordatis, are you able to come off mute?
I am. Hi,
Yay.
everyone. I'm Beth Cordatis. Sorry for calling in from my car, but I live in the Lakeside area. I have been with Mothers Out Front, which is an environmental climate-focused group of mothers and others. And we were pretty heavily involved in the campaign against the Chickahominy gas plant and the C4GT gas plant, both of which would have been less than 4 miles from Henrico's border in Verona. So I've been working with C5, Concerned Citizens of Charles City County, and we've had good news in the past week that those gas plants are both formally, officially not coming to Virginia. So glad to be here with all of you like-minded folks.
Thank you, Beth. Yes, that's been some excellent news this week. Jamie Brunkow, am I saying that correctly?
Bronco, yeah, good evening. I'm Jamie. I'm with the James River Association and have crossed paths with many of you and worked with you on all kinds of river issues. I'm just excited that this is happening and these folks are coming together, and looking forward to the meeting.
Great, thank you. Stuart Schwartz.
Hey all, Stuart Schwartz here. I'm the president of the Partnership for Smarter Growth board. I live here in Richmond and Churchill. I'm also the executive director of the Coalition for Smarter Growth based in the DC region. Great to see everybody and some old friends.
Thanks, Stuart. Richard McNeil.
Hi, everybody. Rick McNeil here. I am with Jean, my wife Jean. We own a historic property on the National Register out here in Eastern Henrico. A gerrymandered section of Varina because we're so close to Robert E. Lee's headquarters and by the middle defenses. And I'm interested to see the battlefield guy here. And I'm just interested to see what y'all have got in store and look forward to a nice meeting. Thanks for having me. Jean invited me by way of Lynn. Happy to see everybody.
Great. Thank you for being here. Nicole Anderson Ellis. If your internet is strong tonight and you're able to come off mute.
I'm trying. I might have that Verona Zoom drawl. I'm Nicole Anderson Ellis. I'm delighted to be here with so many familiar allies and new ones as well. And I could name the ways in which I overlap, but I'm just here as a citizen tonight. I'm very excited to collaborate with all of you.
Thank you, Nicole. Catherine Tucker, you're up next.
Good evening. I'm Catherine Tucker. I have 1 foot in the bucket, 1 foot in the boat, with a house in Fairfield District in Henrico and a country house in Hanover. I spearheaded the development of Hanover Citizens Against the Pipeline, and I rejoice along with everybody else that Chickahominy Pipeline is no more. I'm a master naturalist. I teach botany for one chapter and native plants and invasives for the other. I'm leading a field trip Saturday. I'm interested in what is developing along the lines of conservation in Henrico County. It's long overdue, and I'm happy to participate in any way I can.
Great. Thank you so much, Catherine. My next square says Ellen and Mark.
Yeah, this is Mark. Ellen's off somewhere else. We're friends of Lynn. She strong-armed us into coming to the meeting at the pool. So we live on Elko Road in the Varina district, right across from the technology park.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Rosemary Deemer.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Deemer, and I was invited by Bland. I am the project manager of the 2045 comprehensive plan. I'm with the planning department, obviously, for Henrico, and I'm just here as an invitee to listen. That's all.
Right. We appreciate your being here, Rosemary. Thank you. Gray Montrose.
Hi, sorry for being late. I'm Gray Montrose. I was sent the invitation by Aaron Riley over at James River Association. I'm the assistant director of the Virginia Coastal Policy Center down at William and Mary, but actually live in Henrico. So
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Lauren Landis, you're up next.
Hey everybody, my name is Lauren Landis. Sorry for the voice, it's going out a little bit. I am on the admin team of the SAVE Coalition, Stop the Abuse of Virginia Energy Coalition. We fight compressors and pipelines. We're about 5-6 deep at this point, including the Chickahominy Power Plant and Pipeline. Professionally, I'm the coalition manager for the Climate Equity Working Group, which is comprised of about 6 organizations in Virginia fighting against environmental injustice and inequity. And I'm here with my SAVE hat on as a representative from that coalition to be helpful and gather information specifically from our friends that fought against Chickahominy. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks for being here. Stephanie Rowan. All right, Stephanie might not be able to come off mute right now. Let's see, trying to advance. Mike O'Brien.
Hi, Mike, I live in Eastern Henrico near Easton Cemetery. I was also forwarded on this invitation from Aaron Riley at JRA. Just here as a private citizen to see what's going on. Thank you for having me.
Great, thanks for being here. Parker.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Parker Agelasto. I'm the executive director for the Capital Region Land Conservancy. happy to be here and be supportive of the community's efforts. For those that don't know, Capital Region Land Conservancy is a local land trust that works in Henrico County. And we helped with the acquisition and protection of Malvern Hill Farm and have supported Henrico on certain projects. And then also have, I think we've recorded now 7 conservation easements co-held with the Henricopolis Soil and Water Conservation District, which is a fantastic partner. So happy to share whatever resources we can.
Right. Thank you so much for being here, Parker. Let's see. Jessica Sims.
Hey everybody, Jessica Sims, live in the Brooklyn district. I work for the nonprofit Appalachian Voices. So I've met a lot of y'all fine folks through anti-pipeline and environmental work there. Also a proud JRA River Rat. Thank you, Lynn and Aileen, for making sure I knew about tonight. Glad to see lots of folks and ready to invest more time into where I call home. So thanks for this.
Fantastic. Thanks, Jessica. I think I might have missed 1 or 2 people who might be on the phone. If I haven't called you, please feel free to speak up and introduce yourself. Who have I missed?
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Justin Doyle, Director of Community Conservation for the James River Association, and also a member of the Route 5 Corridor Coalition and Historic Falls of the James Scenic River Advisory Committee. It's a pleasure to be with you this evening.
Great. Thanks for being here. And Stephanie, let's circle back to you because I don't think we had a chance to hear from you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Rowan. I'm a resident in Verina and interested in getting involved in seeing what I can do to conserve land in our area.
Wonderful. Thank you. Did I miss anyone? Well, if not, welcome again. We really appreciate everybody's interest and engagement tonight.
Yeah, and in kind of the interest of time, we're going to go ahead and jump on right on into some of what we wanted to present to you, and that's going to be with John, Lynn, and Bland. So if you guys are ready to take over the screen, I know you have some slides to share.
This might be a little messy, but we're going to try. We do have slides for you. So here we go to try to find our photos. Yes. We're going to come. We're going to find the album. I have 11,300 pictures on my phone. And okay, it's at the bottom. There it is. Okay, let's see. We're going to start here.
And if while we're waiting, just a reminder, we are recording because we want to make sure that this recording works for people that couldn't be here tonight. So if you would stay muted, put your questions into chat, and then we can cover them at the end. So we'll make sure we get to your questions at the end. Lynn, you're on mute. So Lynn, you're on mute. Okay.
All right. Very good.
Here we go.
So, thank you so much. Sorry, appreciate everyone's patience. So we thought we would get the kind of the unfun stuff out of the way first. I'm John Montgomery. I'm an attorney and I've been involved with Lynn on other things. So we just want to take a few minutes to assure you some of the work that we've done to get to this place. So I'm just going to hit the high points of the slide, which are not many, but this is to let you know of the governance which we've established. We're a nonprofit corporation. It's the Henrico Conservation Action Network, or HCAN. It's been established with the State Corporation Commission. We have a set of bylaws that we've established that provide that both individuals and organizations can become members. We have the bylaws provide for a board of directors of 3 classes of directors, anywhere from 3 to 9, but 3 classes so that there would be staggered over 3-year terms. The only, and this is important, the only formal action that the corporation or entity will take as far as a formal corporation will be those things such as annual filings and any financing. All of the work that we will be undertaking in the next months and years, we hope, will be done in effect by that next bullet there, which is all other work done by ad hoc committees. And what we mean by that, and I think this is important, I hope you'll remember this, is that as we approach different issues over the years, if your particular organization or you as an individual are not particularly engaged on that item or that event or whatever it happens to be, then you don't have to participate and you don't have to take a position with it. It's going to be a very flexible organization. This is modeled after some others that we've found. And so you'll be able to pick and choose and determine those things which you feel speak to you and which you may have expertise in and have a strong desire to participate. But there will not be the kind of thing that you'll have to be involved or your organization will have to be involved with every single issue or event that comes along. And then finally, just so you know, we've applied and our 501c3 status is pending. So if anybody's got a burning desire to make a donation, we can take it and we'll provide you a receipt showing that it is a 501c3 donation for purposes. So I'm not going to stop and ask for questions, but you can certainly send any in the chat and everybody will be able to see it. And I'll try to answer those as we go along. So thank you so much, Claiborne and the others. And next up is going to be Lynn. We're here together to try to make it easier for you or easier for us. I'm not sure.
And let's hope this next slide is there. Okay, let's see. I'm going to have to go back to my slides. So bear with. Okay, I'm going to try that again. I'm good. Okay. Yay! Here we are. Okay, guys, can you see me all good? Hi, everybody. So glad that you all are here. What a group this is. And since we are trying to cover a lot of information quickly, I thought I would go ahead and just ground us in something personal, a story of how we actually got here this evening. Surprise, it's my story. So this is Irvin me, and for 41 years, my home has been the far northeastern Varina district on family property along the Middle Chickahominy River. Here, Irvin and I've raised 2 sons in Greater Sandston. Here, I learned to see salamanders, to listen for birds, to distinguish among trees, to savor a still rural community, and to study the jaw-dropping history of what happened all right here. During this time, much has changed on the landscape. Now there's interstate traffic and the incessant noise that comes with it. There are more rooftops. Big industry like Infineon Semiconductor has come and gone. The river has lost its clarity. The sediment in the water column is persistent. My sense of obligation to steward this land, the wildlife that calls it home, and the stories it holds have only increased with time. For 15 years since leaving full-time employment, I've done my best to pay attention to what's going on in and around this corner of the planet and to weigh in on local issues as needed. I remain acutely aware that I'm not a naturalist, a planner, an engineer, or a manager. In fact, I best identify as Jane Q, citizen, well-intended, but not necessarily the best person suited for the task. But to whom much is given, much is expected, and so on we go. Henrico's beautiful. We Henrico residents rightly consider ourselves fortunate to live in this thriving locality. Henrico is a national leader, an envy of its peers, renowned for sound fiscal management, for the caliber of our schools, roads, and public facilities, for the economic development that we attract. We have terrific parks, robust farmers markets, curbside recycling, redevelopment of aging shopping centers and neighborhoods. We have the Pulse GRTC, the Virginia Capitol Trail, and the Fall Line Trail next up. We have award-winning new, beautiful green LEED certified public buildings. The Henricopolis Soil and Water District does important, excellent work. And yet it's not enough. What else could we possibly want? What else will it take for our children and our children's children to consider us as having done everything we could to leave them a better world? We in Henrico must cultivate a conservation mindset that extends throughout county facilities and properties, through and beyond county parks, above and beyond what's required by the DEQ, and to the community at large, and to the everyday decisions of our individual lives. We must seriously commit to reducing the use of fossil fuels, to energy efficiency, and to use of solar and other renewables, to doing our part at the county level to address climate change. We need commitment to protecting biodiversity within our borders, to environmental conservation generally, to farmland preservation, protection of archaeological and historical resources, and protection from noise and light pollution. Native wildlife, forests, rivers, and streams need protection and stewardship before it's too late. Less glamorously, stormwater and wastewater infrastructure sufficient to handle increasing pressure must become budget priorities in Henrico County. The unseen work of our public utilities, very expensive and too easily taken for granted, is critical to the health of our waterways. We need not invent the wheel. Standards and awards for best practices in community resilience, sustainability, and climate action abound. Is it too much to expect of any local government, its economic development authority, and its citizenry to be conservation minded? I don't think so anymore, especially after the county's hopeful 2045 meeting last night. If we citizens haven't asked for conservation until it's too late, this is changing. If elected officials and staff haven't heard that we expect responsible stewardship, this will be changing too.
Lynn, I will tell you, if I could interject for just a second, I think, part of, as I hear you, and as we've talked about this before, I think part of what you're saying is that when everybody looks at open areas in agriculture and forestry and those things, you have a dream. Some people dream of developing that housing and infrastructure and things along the way. And others dream of conserving that and making sure that we have that going forward and that we maximize those cultural and natural resources that we have. And so I think what Lynn's saying is when she says it's time for a change, what I hear, it's time for us to express our dream as well and make sure that when things are being considered on a particular parcel or a particular area or a particular overview, that all of the dreams are heard, and particularly those of the conservationists. And so in my mind, that's what we want to try to get accomplished with this new organization. So sorry, Lynn, I hope that's.
No, thank you. And we did ask John to jump right in. That's part of why we're all together. It's not just about internet access. So anyway, so this kind of a blue sign may be familiar to you. This is actually where this idea for a coalition all began. Right now, there are lots of these posted across the county. And it's a notice of landowner request to change the use of the property and the community's opportunity to learn about what's proposed, to ask questions, to have our say. So right about the first of the year, I noticed one near my home along Williamsburg Road. I called planning, connected with a helpful planner, and saw this proposed. The map is rather daunting. It's a rezoning case. The Atlantic Crossing project wants to convert 530 acres currently forested and zoned for agriculture to general industrial use, a bit more than was recommended by the 2026 plan. This is part of a frenzy of activity in the tech arena that's driven by Henrico's unique connection to 3 super fast international subsea fiber optic telecommunications cables right here at White Oak Technology Park east of the airport, where Facebook has located. This is how the Economic Development Authority is marketing this incredible capacity that we have. From a neighbor's perspective, we expect to see logging and massive construction as this technology park builds out. We wonder about the impact of data centers, which are known to require massive amounts of energy and water. And so we think, what does this kind of economic development mean for my farm, for the neighborhood, for groundwater, for the watershed, for traffic? This technology corridor seems emblematic of big change coming our way. In Verina, we're eager to hear from county leadership about what it means to live with their Audubon beyond the very attractive tax revenue it will generate. As an aside, I checked the status of the project with the county planner today. It is deferred, but we all know this big idea is not likely to go away. There will be another prospect who is indeed hooked by the county. So meanwhile, back in January, as we're trying to figure out what in the world data centers mean on this 530 acres and all their associated businesses, across the screen comes this amazing resource. It's yet another webinar about data centers hosted in Prince William County in Northern Virginia. Several of us here attended. We got great information, but my eye certainly was mostly on the organization that was hosting this timely program. Prince William County, okay, their Conservation Alliance. Look at the partners here. It didn't take long to decide that we wanted one of those for ourselves. We need one of these in Henrico County. Surely there are people here with a heart for conservation willing to bring a coalition together. And so here's a little bit more about the Prince William Conservation Alliance, what we learned. It is a sustained grassroots countywide organization. It's not another ad hoc group formed around a single issue like pipeline or a neighborhood concern. The Prince William Conservation Alliance is made up of lots of voices, and it's an organization built to last. It has a website. It plays an educational role for stakeholders, as in the webinar that was put on that brought in ultimately national and worldwide experts to shed light on a proposal for the Digital Gateway project that was threatening, and still is, the Occoquan Reservoir. And then we started looking around for other coalition models. We didn't have to go far. Just next door is the Concerned Citizens of Charles City County that's had so much success in such a rural county. Quite an inspiration there, Beth. To our north, the Coalition for Hanover's Future, that's about 15 years old. And as you can see here, if I gave you a chance to look at this a little longer, that they also have a comprehensive plan project underway. Our closest model, though, has been from Loudoun County. It's a mouthful, the Loudoun County Preservation and Conservation Coalition. They are 15 years old and really have been very helpful to all of us. All of these groups have some things in common. Not only do they have the web resources and the social media presence, but they respond with positive, transparent, and fact-based approaches to development proposals that affect their community.
Lynn, and I think it's important just to pause there for a second, to emphasize that it is positive, that by being proactive and being engaged and being built to last, as Lynn said, instead of just rising to the occasion for a one-off event, that in fact you're able to have a much greater positive impact. We're able to be partners. I know that I've experienced a great partnership with our Henrico County Planning Department as the zoning ordinance was being rewritten and looking at some of the agriculture issues there. So this will only allow us to become really a force multiplier, so that in effect, hopefully the goal would be we become sort of the go-to for what is the conservation aspect of a particular consideration.
Thank you. Very good. And so now you know how the dream of the Henrico Coalition came to be. And so now what you have before you is a little slide. The other day, I finally typed up my running list of potential action areas for a conservation coalition. There's no particular emphasis intended here, but 53 is just way too, it's way too many. It's a lot of things that we can work on. And frankly, it is easy to be discouraged or worse, jaded, considering such a list, especially in light of the daily news. Lately, I have been grateful to focus on forming this new conservation organization so that we will be ready for the next big thing, whether it's in my neighborhood or yours. We are stronger, more effective, and surely more joyful when we work together. Maybe we'll design a community garden or remove invasive species. Maybe we can put forward best practices for safer walking and biking. Perhaps we can designate some old growth forest or save critters that use Tuckahoe Creek, reduce our collective carbon footprint, push back bad ideas, advance good ones. Looking at this list, we invite you to help shape HCAN and ultimately the Henrico Conservation Agenda. Which one should we tackle? Where can we make a win? What is possible? We won't win them all, but we will win some. It all begins with the opportunity to shape the next comprehensive plan. You do belong in this HCAN space. We're all citizens, lay people, not planners, although that skill set is certainly welcomed. Most of us have little exposure to local government and how it works, especially when it comes to planning commissions, proffers, provisional use permits, and comp plans. These processes and the language they incorporate can be off-putting and often intimidating. That's why it's high time for a countywide conservation coalition, a stronger voice to figure out how we better protect what we love in Henrico County. And so now we will turn to my friend Bland Godden to tell you about our first project.
So is that, if we slide that over and Bland prepares to share a few remarks, I just want to emphasize, I think what Lynn said, and that is, this is an opportunity to prepare for the next big thing, which Bland's going to share us with some, but also to prepare for all the next little things that come along, because great things are accomplished by standing on and stacking upon small things. And if you do the small things well, then we'll begin to do the large things well as also. So Bland.
All right. Let's right here. Thanks, Lynn and John. We are thinking that the initial focus of this group should be the Henrico County 2045 comp plan. Because this plan is comprehensive, any conservation topic that is important to us lives inside of this plan. Henrico County is obligated by state law to review its comprehensive plan every 5 years. Every locality in Virginia does the same thing, as do localities all over the country. The county rolled out Henrico Next 2045 last night with an in-person and virtual kickoff meeting with its residents. So the timing for the startup of this group is just about perfect. All right, there's the land use plan. This is a map of the land use plan. I think they showed this to us last night. Did you all have any comments at this point? Okay. Did you, John?
Yeah.
Okay. In a nutshell, the comprehensive plan is a document developed by the county which represents what we would like our county to look like in the coming years. The process is driven by the land use plan. This plan is developed from forecasts of future population growth, housing needs, and commercial square footage needs. From that comes the transportation plan for our roads, public transportation, and bike trails. The public utility plans, water, sewer, and public facilities plans, schools, libraries, firehouses, public safety are updated to support the increase in development. So this is the key from the land use plan. You will notice that there are 9 different flavors of residential densities and 9 different flavors of commercial government uses. So you can see where the focus has been. Then there are our green spaces, the little green blocks there. Parks and recs, wetlands, and finally there's what is called prime agriculture. This is our A1 zoning, what the county refers to as undeveloped land.
And Bland, I want to interject there for a second and just call your attention to that, because as we go through these documents, I said a few minutes ago about we got to make sure that our dream is heard at the table. And I think this is a good chance to look at it. As you're looking at this slide, prime agriculture is listed there, but in a few minutes, we're going to begin to see that sometimes when folks consider what prime agriculture land is, suddenly it gets turned around and it becomes undeveloped land. And that is where our dream, that is where our voice needs to be heard. We need to maintain that is prime agriculture land and maintain the value of that and the conservation value of that, and make sure that it's spoken to in those terms, that it's not somehow a blank slate to be considered undeveloped land, which, by the way, what happens to undeveloped land? It becomes developed. Kind of like if you ask a carpenter what to do with a nail, you hit it with a hammer. And so if you got an undeveloped land, you develop it. And so we need to make sure that our understanding, that our dream of prime agriculture conservation is maintained. And I just look at that designation as we look at some of Bland takes us through some of these maps and charts.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So when a property is assigned a specific land use, there is a lot of weight in that assignment. Though it is not legally binding, the comp plan is used as a tool in decision-making by the county planners. When a developer brings a case before the Planning Commission to rezone a property, the comprehensive plan is the starting place for their approval or denial of the case. The comprehensive plan or compliance with the comprehensive plan is cited by the county when posting notice of a pending case as seen here. And if you look at this is a, don't switch yet. This is a news, or what you might see in the newspaper. I believe the county used to post these every couple of weeks if there are pending cases. Those of us that get the newspaper or used to get the newspaper might be familiar with these. And a community group that I used to be involved with, we would watch for these notices carefully to see what development was coming in our area, and to see whether we would need to take action. And if you see where it is circled in red, the comprehensive plan is cited as far as, I don't know if you all can read it. The 2026 comprehensive plan recommends suburban residential 1 density should not exceed 2.4 units per acre, and blah, 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 blah. But they're using it, they're using the words from the comp plan. On a personal note, I own a conservation easement which protects woodland, streams, and open space in my neighborhood. When the easement was established, approval was sought from the county. In the approval letter, which is shown here, you can see the part the comprehensive plan plays and how important it is to get every word in the comprehensive plan document just right. They have cited chapter after chapter in the comp plan, verbiage straight from the comp plan here in their decision to approve that conservation easement. What you can do with your property is largely determined by your compliance with the Henrico County Comprehensive Plan. Areas around where you live may suddenly be under development pressure in a way that does not support conservation and sustainable use of the area because of what has been approved by in the comprehensive plan. And all this I have learned from working with a group in my community in an effort to protect the area where I live. We learned that by working with the county, we could have a voice in shaping the future of our county. Participation gives us, the citizens, the chance on the front end to make decisions that are in keeping with our conservation desires. And it is not all about prime agriculture turning into subdivisions. Redevelopment sites around the county can be thoughtfully planned to add much needed neighborhood parks. The county is already protecting some stream and wetland areas and neighborhoods. Let's extend that protection to sites with old trees. Let's make sure we protect wildlife and pollinator corridors throughout our county. What are your conservation priorities in the area where you live? The development community is involved in this process already, but we are stakeholders. The residents of the county have been invited to come together to say what we want. Let's say what we want. Okay. You want to go?
Sure. So a few minutes ago, as Bland got ready to make her remarks, I pointed out to you the areas that for you to keep your eye on. I kind of forecast for you in our opening argument what we were going to come back to and what the evidence might show, if I could speak as I do in a lawyer sometimes. And what we have here for you in the lower left is that slide, or a version of the slide that Bland shared with you first. And it shows the prime agricultural area off to the right there primarily is shown in white here. If you go up to the slide in the top right, that is a slide that's provided by the Economic Development Authority. And you'll see a large part of that area is suddenly designated not as agriculture and prime agriculture land to be conserved, but rather is undeveloped land to be developed. And so Bland said,
opportunity zones,
yes,
call it.
Opportunity zones. And you know, that's a great word, opportunity zones. And it depends on which side of the table or what your perspective is. Bland said it's important. We've been asked to be heard. It's important to be heard. Often those who wish to take the opportunity zone and convert it to a development zone speak with either one voice or many voices, but it's a coordinated effort. And it usually is well resourced and well thought out and well trained and even well intentioned. But it does not recognize the dream that all of us, and I mean all of us sitting around this collective digital table, that our dream is for those areas of prime agriculture and forestry and the corridors that we mentioned here tonight. So as we begin to wrap up and as we conclude, and our two hosts are going to make sure that they share with you what we can do next, please take away from this that all of us together can articulate and share that dream in such a way that that we've been invited to do, the county's asked us to do, and we can do better together. So thank you so much. I speak for the ladies here with me. And I say thank you so much for being here. And please share your questions in the chat box. And with that, unless either of the two of you have something to share, we will turn it back over to Claiborne.
Thanks, everybody. And really want to reiterate, I so appreciate the opportunity for people to have a voice here. You know, everybody's got their own opinions and we can certainly acknowledge those. And I think dialogue is the best thing that we can possibly do. And of course, we want to help the county do the best they can with coming up with this plan. So with that said, we asked for some actions. We are going to send out a follow-up email tomorrow. There'll be a couple of things in there that we ask you to participate in. The next meeting, we're looking to mid to late April, but we wanted to kind of get a sense of where your area of interest is. And if you don't know, that's okay. But we do want to kind of form subcommittees so that people who have a specific interest or passion can really bring that to bear into a subcommittee. And then the subcommittees can report into the main meeting, which makes that more powerful. There is a Henrico County website resource for the 2045 plan. There is a link right here. We will include that in the email to make it very clickable for you. On Facebook, there is also our Facebook page that will have the most up to the minute updates. And so we will make sure we have a link to that in the email as well to make that something you can easily follow. And then of course our website as well. And we look forward to your input. You know, we have some guidance. As everyone has mentioned, there are some other entities focusing on these kinds of actions in other areas of our state, in other areas of the country. And so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We can certainly look to what other people have done and been successful with and implement that here. So Anne-Marie, you want to take us out?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate thank you to everyone for joining in tonight. It has just been so exciting to see so many people around the table, so many different areas of expertise, areas of interest, passion. So thank you all very much. And we look forward to moving forward and all of us working together to achieve our environmental objectives, which all, you know, we won't all necessarily have the same objectives, but by working together, we'll find people who do share the same passions and interests and can work together to accomplish some really wonderful things for Henrico County.
Oh, okay. We do have one question. What are the percentages of open land of various types in Henrico? And this is from Catherine Tucker. And if anybody has an answer to that, you can unmute yourself.
I don't think anybody on this among those of us who presented would know that answer. That's the kind of thing it's a very good question. It's the kind of thing any of us would have to research who are just among the citizens. But great question, Catherine. Thank you.
And possibly, you know, something a subcommittee could kind of take on as an action item.
And actually, if I can add, Claiborne and Lynn, probably on our next, I think the plan is for the next meeting to get into detail more about the comp plan. And those are questions that are perfect for the next meeting. Is that right?
Anne-Marie, this is Rosemary, and somebody suggested that I weigh in.
Great.
And I'm not necessarily here for that purpose, but the question that the person asked, Ms. Tucker, there aren't different types of open space. I don't know what they mean by open land of various types. Land is classified by its zoning district or its existing land use, or in the case of that map, the future land use. And if you're using that metric, then it's, it's based on whether it's environmental protection area or open space recreation. So there aren't other open space categories in the residential or commercial. And I'm just not sure if that's what they were getting at. And off the top of my head, I couldn't give you that number of what percent of the land is open, but I can tell you that Verina has more open space than all the rest of the county combined.
Thank you, Rosemary.
Beth commented, how can you get land designated conservation preserves? Doug Tallamy has a national U.S. park designation for his homeowners. The land would follow certain criteria to get designation. Interesting. So this is all of the kind of like nitty gritty that a subcommittee could really get into and bring their findings back to the larger group, which I'm so looking forward to. John says perhaps we could have someone in the group who could attempt a history review of the shift from prime agriculture to another designation. So yeah, I mean, this is great. This is exactly the kind of detective work that we want to do that ultimately helps us roll up the information to help the county come together and make really strong policies, because it's the individual citizens that inform this narrative so much. And Parker, American Farmland Trust, has a report John is looking for and can report on conservation of prime farmland. So again, I'm excited. This is exciting stuff. I mean, you can kind of feel the energy bubbling up of what people care about, the passion that they want to bring to this. And again, I mean, the county is not the enemy. They just need some guidance from the active citizens like we are. So we're so excited. Average farm size in Henrico is 99 acres. Yeah. And by the way, the Henricopolis Soil and Water Board covers, I think, some outstanding number here of working with all of those farms in the county to help them use best management practices. So anyway, there's so many intersections here, so many things to get excited about. We're so excited about how many people were present at the meeting. And Anne-Marie, I'm going to let you take us out with like a goal or something like that.
I don't know. I don't think I could top that, Claiborne. Just again, thank you to everyone. I'll ask the rest of the steering committee if there's anything else they want to say before we sign off. Like we said, there'll be a follow-up email. You are all automatically added to our mailing list. So stay tuned for further updates. Lynn, anything else you want to say before we officially sign off? No? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And we will be in touch tomorrow and look forward to working with all of you. Thank you.
Good night. Good night, everybody.